Often in technical communication, an image is necessary to show the setup of your equipment, the relationship between ideas, and while you often can create these images yourself, sometimes you want to see, are they already out there, and can you use them without paying a royalty or fee? Images are protected by copyright. This video walks through how to find images that don't have copyright issues that could get you and your company in legal hot water. So I'm at images.google.com. Let's say I need a picture of my laboratory setup for a lab report. Well, it's really easy to just take out my cell phone and click a picture. What if I forgot to do this? I'm going to Google for titration lab setup. Titration is something you commonly do in chemistry. And look at all my images. There's line diagrams, there's photos. The thing is, the vast majority of these images are not labeled for me to use. When a person uploads an image to the web, he or she retains copyright over it as long as it was originally his or her design. So what I need to do now to find reusable images is to click on Search Tools. This expands another level of my search menu, and what I want is usage rights. Here are my options. The default is not filtered by license. In other words, Google, give me any image that relates to my search. I can look for images that are labeled for reuse with modification. This means I want to type some additional information, add some arrows. The most open images to use are simply labeled for reuse. These are files where the original creator has decided, I don't care if you want to make money off of this. I don't care if it's commercial, you want to make money off of it. I don't care if it's non-commercial, just reuse it. That's cool. What happens when I click on this? A lot of my really nice results have gone away. If I scroll down, I can still find some laboratory setup. These are from Wikipedia. Here's how to prepare diazomethane. Probably not exactly what I want. Here's a distillation setup. So I don't have as many obviously useful images as I did before, but I do, in the very top left, have a basic diagram of a retort stand that shows a titration pipette and a beaker. A lot of your labeled for reuse images will be from Wikipedia or from a site called Wikimedia Commons. We're going to take a look at that site as well. I'm also going to show you some alternatives to Google Images, other places you can find images that are labeled for reuse, that don't have the copyright issues that again can result in lawsuits. Wikimedia Commons at commons.wikimedia.org is, as its description says, a database of some 24.5 million freely usable media files. All right, let me look for titration equipment here. And it gives me a GIF file for a standard acid-base titration. I can download all sizes, and it tells me under attribution, attribution not legally required. This means I don't have to legally give a citation, say I got this from Chris Evans at Wikimedia Commons. I can download my image file and paste it into my lab report. You won't necessarily find a huge variety in the images on Wikimedia Commons. Everything depends on what users around the world have decided to upload. Another place you can look for images is on the site Flickr, and that's where we're going to go next. I am at flickr.com, Flickr. My search box is at the top right. I'm going to again look for titration here. I get some more artsy lab photographs. I get a sample graph, but let me zoom in. Sorry for the resizing. My default license here is any license. Many of the images that you find on Flickr cannot be used unless you pay the creator for permission. So I want to reset my license to Creative Commons only. A Creative Commons license allows the individual user to set the parameters for the use of his or her work. Let's see what happens when we click Creative Commons only. So I've gotten a lot of images of students doing a titration lab, but nothing that I really might want to use in my lab report. Probably the closest I get to something useful would be this photograph of equipment. If I click on this, I can see it a little bit larger. There's a good chance this doesn't look exactly like the setup I used in my lab, but maybe it's close enough. At the very bottom of my screen, it says Some Rights Reserved. So I click on this to see the terms of this license. It says I can share, I can adapt it, as long as I give appropriate credit and that I'm doing something non-commercial. Well, I'm not trying to make money off of my lab report, really. I'm just trying to get my grade. So I can use this image as long as I put in my caption for this figure the source of my titration lab apparatus. To download a file on Flickr, you use the icons at the bottom right, the arrow. If I hover over that, it says download this photo, and it will ask me how big do you want it. I can choose an image size, and then this will download to my desktop. So there's an alternative to just a straight up Google Images search with labeled for reuse images only, and to Wikimedia Commons. You can always check Flickr to see if it has some useful reusable images.